Okay, so the meeting is being recorded. And once again, I welcome every one of us to this meeting on CV Café. It is the first of its kind, and I am excited. When the idea came to me, I was really struggling with myself because I've not done it before, and I didn't know how you guys will accept it. And I was glad that a lot of people showed interest, gave their suggestions on how we can, what we can do to make it work. And I want to thank those that the volunteers that sent in their CV for the first run. I The way I see it, we might not be able to even handle the two CVs that we received because of maybe the type of comments we might be providing. So if we are not able to do that, my apology to anybody that will not go through your CV. But what we will do is that any CV that we will treat, I'm sure that we can learn a very good lesson from the one we will treat that can be applicable to any other one. Then we can also do this. We can, if it's successful, we can actually continue this CV cafe thing and other cafes that we'll be doing if it's successful. Yeah. So feel free to turn your video on if you want, or if you don't want, it's also good. Like I said in the group, that we will start by allowing our own Nathaniel to take us through. I want him to take us through a step-by-step approach on how to locate a professor on a university's website, and he agreed to do that. Nathaniel, I want to welcome you to share your screen if you're ready, so that we can do that before we go into the CV that we have. Hi,
Okay,
Nathaniel.
thank you, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Can you present your screen?
Yeah, I'm
There's
trying
a
to.
button there called present now.
Yes, sir.
He stopped sharing. He left. Oh, okay. I think maybe by mistake or network he left. So that said, I'll just go straight to the CV. So does anybody from the CV that we sent? So I'm going to be focusing on CV one. Nathaniel, what happened? Your network? You want to share again? We can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Nathaniel.
Okay, sir. I've done that.
Maybe drop the SAR. Just okay. Just drop the SAR. Let's not have SAR in this our meeting too much.
It's all right.
Share your
Um,
screen again and let's do that. Let's do that very fast.
okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
We can see your screen, yeah.
Okay.
But you have to go to a page where you can show us, right? You are showing the
Yeah.
page of the call. Yeah.
Yeah, can you see my screen now? The new page, the
Yes,
screen?
I can see your
Okay.
screen.
Okay. I have different ways of getting a prof. The first one is through the university website, which I will use the University of Saskatchewan as an example. You can just type the University of Saskatchewan, and you can go to any of the blogs here. Some universities, what you see is our people or just people. In some, you just see faculty and staff. You click on faculty and staff. Hello, can you see what I'm doing?
Yes, we
I
can
can
see.
see.
Okay, then you go to the academics. You can see the academics here. You click on academics. Go to colleges and schools, admission and programs. So whichever one you want to go to.
Printed in 2 copies. You can print three so that
Okay. And from here you can also go to the graduate program. So from graduate program, you can see the graduate program. So any of the department you click on, let's try civil engineering. Click on civil engineering. Then you can see research supervisors. Click on research supervisors. It will take you to their professors. So that's for University of Saskatchewan. That's its own arrangement. In some other universities, you may not have theirs like this. For instance,
No.
I think
So sorry. So can you just go one more step? So you have seen the list of professors. So how do you know them?
okay,
Just click
okay,
one
okay.
and let's see more.
All right, all right. Then from here, the one of your research interest area, the one that is in your research interest area, then you click on the person. Let's say this Wanja Chan. It will show this view website. You click on that view website to see more about him.
Wait there. So
Okay.
from the page that Nathaniel went, that view website, you can see some information. So maybe after reading that, the person his work doesn't interest you, right? You can go
Yes,
to
sir.
another person. But if
Yes, sir.
from that little overview, the person's work interests you, then what you do, you can now click to go to his website to see more, right?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Okay. All right. So this is where you now see more about what he's doing, his current research, his publications, and the rest. I mean, sometimes some of them you will see the link to his Google Scholar or ResearchGate so that you can read more about his work, and then the current ones he's doing as well. So, and why those ones that have their website is better is that most times some of them don't even advertise their positions on social media like LinkedIn or Twitter. They'll just drop it on their website. So any student that is very interested would be the one to go through. As you're exploring, you get the information. That's why most times you see that graduate students or postdoc, I know you can talk more about that though. The graduate students of the professor are the ones that normally get the first-hand information and thereby getting more of their friends from their home countries. So if you're unable to go to check the professor very well, you may not really understand when he has an opening or not. So that is why it is better if a professor has a website. It is easier for you. It makes everything easier for you to know if he has an opportunity or not. Then the next way I've been using is if some university, their website is very technical in a way that you may find it difficult navigating to some of the professors. You just type on Google. For instance, I'll be using University of Washington. University of Washington, let me use civil engineering professors. Civil engineering professors. Yeah, professor. University of Washington. So this one can just take you straight to the faculty members. You don't need to worry yourself much again. You can just select, there are so many results that will be shown. So you click on any. Yeah, it will take you to this. It will still looks like the other one. And in this case, it means that they mix both, they mix all the faculty members, both maybe the academic and the administrative staff, as well as their options. So in some schools, you have different options for different professors for different options, but in some schools, it will be mixed up. You'll be the one to select the one in your option. or your area of interest. Then you can click on the person. You can see all of them are hyperlinked. You can click on the person, like for this Jeffrey Berman. It will take you to his own web page. Then you see more about his research and publications, his research area, publication, and his Google Scholar account.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
I think that is very helpful, Nathaniel. Thank you so much. I am very sure this lays a foundation for many of our members who find it difficult to navigate to a professor. You have given us two wonderful methods that we can use. We really thank you. So let's go straight to the matter of today, the CV Cafe. So you can unshare your screen. I will share my screen when it comes to that. So does anybody, so we are looking at CV1. And I asked us to review those CVs. So does anybody have a comment or some comments for CV1? If you want to share your screen, that is fine. If you just want to speak to it, that is also fine.
Yes, I have some comments too.
Okay, Nathaniel is there, but let's wait. If somebody else let's have them, because you just finished speaking now. Let it not be like it's a monotony.
All right.
Any comments on CV1 from the house? Okay, since nobody is raising their hand, let's hear from Nathaniel.
So, okay, may I share my screen? I'll
Okay,
just be scrolling down fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
The same way, if anybody wants to share their screen to demonstrate or show us their comment or what are the strengths in CV1, you can also do that, right? This is a cafe.
Okay, can you see my screen?
You can maximize it. I think we are only seeing just a chunk of it, because now we need to see more. Okay, I think this is better.
I think we can zoom at our different ends. We can zoom the pictures to see the part we want to.
Okay, but can you see the one I'm showing now?
Yeah. Okay.
Like the first one, he added his Skype link. I don't think it is necessary. With the LinkedIn link, I think is enough, except if he has links like ResearchGate, Academia, or Google Scholar. That's very relevant to academic. Okay. Then the next one is education. Actually, I was the one that made this board and the rest. And the next thing I saw is his journal. His or her journal under review. He didn't mention the particular journal where he submitted it to. I think is necessary. Then here as well, the conference he attended, no date for both. I think is also necessary that he adds that. Yeah, I brought this one down, the volunteer experience, because he only had the heading up without the content attached to it. So I brought it down. The next one is the spelling of Onisha, that he made a mistake here. Then the volunteer experience. Okay, I've written something like that. Yeah, all the leadership experience he has, he didn't indicate the duration of his office. I think it's necessary. And the certification, I think it's supposed to be in plural. Certification, as well as the years he obtained each of them. The next is the Historical Society of Nigeria. I don't know if they have corporate and student membership. So if it is possible, it is nice he indicates that. Then the next one is, I think he's just shooting himself by putting Igbo as mother tongue. That's all I have for the CV1, sir. Thank you.
Wow. Nathaniel, in fact, you have brought out some good points for this. You have made some good comments, and we thank you for that. So we are not here to say a comment that is wrong or right. We are going to leave everything to the person that owns the CV to work on it. So later you will share this file that has your comment on it, so that the person that owns the CV can use them to improve their CV. The good thing is that most of your comments are in line with my comments. In fact, you're a star already. Okay, who else wants to go? Ubaka.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, something I noticed about the CV1, although I can't share screen, but from the
Okay.
very first, the first line for the school, university, it said 2013 to 2014.
Good.
I think that's an error.
Good.
That means he went to school for just 1 year.
Good. Good observation.
Okay.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah, that is all.
Okay. Any other person has a comment on CV1? Remember, I asked us to review. It is a cafe. It's like we are drinking coffee and doing this thing. So it's not. It's like more like an informal thing, right? So don't see it like I'm the professor here or Nathaniel is. It should always just say something. Don't be shy. That is that was sent that CV 2 weeks ago, or one week ago. Any other comment from the house? Any other comment from the house? Okay. In the absence of no comment, so I will share my screen and show what I have. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So when I received CV1 and CV2, my first impression was, because I just checked it on my WhatsApp, using my WhatsApp, my phone. I liked CV1 very well because of the structure. But I was surprised when I was going through the details, and I found out that there are a lot of things to comment. I was thinking that CV2 will be the one that will have too many comments, which I think it also has. But I'm happy that CV1 has comments, even when it was prepared using a template, because I'm very sure this was prepared using one of the templates that I recommended. Still, the person still has a long way to go on it. So I will go through my comments one after the other since we have time. In my comments, I try to also mention the things that I think are very good. So I start with the email. So your email is, for me, in terms of contact, is the most important information that you should have there, because it is the means that you'll be contacted. Let's say you submit your CV and the person finds your profile very interesting, so the person can contact you. I do not think that anybody will call you, anybody in Canada, what will call you on your phone from Canada, unless you are going to be, you're like the president of the country. So that does not mean you should not add it, but your email should be correct and should be provided. The same thing Nathaniel said about Skype. See, I am not too sure if anyone still uses Skype. Can you see that comment? So because of that, having your Skype there, I do not encourage it. The reason, it's not like it's wrong. It's just that it is redundant. So LinkedIn is good, but I have a comment there. Make sure your profile is clean in case anyone checks. So don't just put a LinkedIn profile because you have a LinkedIn profile. If you are applying for academic jobs or academic position like PhD or master's, then you should be able to go and clean up your profile. Just like you have on your CV, put your education, put those skills that you have there, those volunteers that you have done, the certifications that you have, if you have publications, let it tally, let your LinkedIn profile tally with your CV in case the person wants to check you up, right? Does that make sense? Okay, let's go to the next thing. Again, the same thing that one of us just pointed out. I saw that, and my question was, I don't question that, because it's possible that the person maybe did direct entry, but it's something to be questioned. So does this mean you did your bachelor's for only 2 years? So, and Ubaka, I think Ubaka also saw that. So that means you should clarify that this is correct. Maybe you did something in a polytechnic and you transferred. If that is true, then let us have another education background, another school that you went that supplemented for this year. Then this class of grade, I think the class of grade you have here, it's, for me, it's just redundant. You can just go ahead. One thing we should note when we are writing our CV, when we are preparing our CV, we should reduce the amount of text, the amount of word that we are using. So we should write it as precise as possible. So if something is doing the second class honors upper division on its own, everybody know that that is the grade, right? Everybody knows that that is a grade. So no need of saying class of grade. Just go ahead and put it. That's what I think. Then here, mentioning that you have a CGPA of 3.65/5.00, it's very good. But I will suggest, I will show this only if my CGPA is like 4 point something out of 5. Yeah, because like in my school where I did my PhD at McGill, if you have 3.65, that might not be out of 5, that might not be something to shout about, right? So, but if you have like 4.4, 4.5, 4.9, that is something you want to sell. So this can hurt you. This can hurt your application. So just put second class upper. Then when they check your transcript, for sure they will see that, right? When they are interviewing you, in case you are being interviewed, they can ask you that, you can tell them, and maybe then you can even explain why it is that it is low, it's 3.65. Maybe you can explain why, or how you were able to work on it during your, maybe this was because during your first year you were not really focused, but after some year, or along the line you were sick, something like that, or you gave birth to a child that took your time, or your family background made you to do some menial jobs to supplement your academics, something like that. So you cannot just explain. But 3.65 for me is not, 0.67 is not a great CGPA that I should broadcast on my CV, unless the application wants you to quote that. Then the next thing I pointed out is, if you have a question along the line, please ask me. This is a cafe. So the next thing I pointed out is these names that are listed here under skills and abilities. These names, we should all, I see this a lot when I review CVs. These names, they are trade names. So when we spell them, we should be careful to use the correct spelling. Like PowerPoint. PowerPoint is not power space point. It's together. PowerPoint, and the P is capital, like this example here. Then something like PageMaker. PageMaker, also look at the right spelling here. There's no space. Page, capital M, Maker. Then you have your CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is the name is together, and the draw is uppercase throughout. So that we should, these are, when you say somebody pays attention to details, these are the things that you should pay attention to. You make sure that those details, you are not making error in them. Because as a graduate student, you are expected to pay attention to details when you plan your experiments, when you write your papers. Yeah. So again, I think Nathaniel pointed this out, and I'm pointing it out here. You are using publications, but you only have one publication, and so I think it should just be publication. And here I am saying that, oh, so I missed one point here. This point here is written. If you check everything here, it's that everything is going, you are not, this written is inconsistent with the other words you have written here. So the written should be in capital if you want to be consistent. So you should have it in uppercase. That consistency matters a lot throughout your writing. So any method, any format you choose, learn to be consistent with it. So I've made this point. You should remove the S because you have one publication. If you get more than one publications, then you can add the S to
Prof.
yeah.
Okay, sorry for cutting you. Permit me to draw you back a little bit. I feel
Okay,
the issue of Microsoft Office tools, I feel listing them out is not necessary because everyone already knows what Microsoft Office tools are or what they are. Yeah. So I
great.
feel listing them out is not necessary. Yeah.
Great. So that's also a very nice point. That is a very nice point. So listing them out might also be redundant, but if there's an application that says that they want the knowledge in maybe Excel, knowledge in maybe PowerPoint, I don't think anybody is actually asks that these days. But if they ask that, I agree with you. If they ask that, then you can actually specify that skill in that so that the person will just know that you have that. It's all about a word that captures attention. I agree with you. Listing all these different parts, different packages in Microsoft Office, I think it's also redundant. Thank you very much. So let's go. So I have a comment on this article. Here, you're under publication, you are stratifying it into journal articles. Since you have only one, there is no need to stratify them because you just have one, right? But yeah, you just have one. So I said no need to specify this since you just have one. Assuming you have a research article, maybe you have a book chapter, then you have presentation, right? Then it makes sense to stratify them, to break them into book chapter, review article, this, that. But here it's not needed. Just go ahead and put the publications. Then Nathaniel also had a comment there, and I agree with him that so this my comment. You should provide more information because the reason why you are quoting the publication is just not just to show that you can publish. We also want to see who are the authors. Are you the first author, or you are just you are a co-author? If you are the first author, it's something you want to show. And whenever you write your first, or whenever you list your name among the authors, you should always bold that's your name to emphasize, right? Emphasis is always important. That was what Nathaniel was talking about, bolding something. That is an emphasis. Like when I see your work and I see a bolded part or an underlined part, it draws my attention straight to it, right? So my suggestion, again, who or which journal is reviewing this manuscript? I think that was what Nathaniel pointed out, that I should put the journal. So it doesn't just, this one looks very general, right? It doesn't tell us anything about what type of journal do you value. So you should be able to put your name or the names of the authors. That will also show us if you can collaborate, or if you collaborate with people or you just work alone, right? So I am suggesting that you can use one of the referencing styles such as APA 7th edition and be consistent. So if you are going to be using APA 7th edition, just like when you write your references, when you write a manuscript, be consistent. What I see most times is that when we list our publications, we want to list it based on the way it is in the paper. No, you have to know that your CV is a document on its own. So don't be scattered in your presentation. Whether you have the name, like maybe you have the first name, the first name, last name, and or the last name, first name in the publication. When you come to your CV, be consistent. Either you are using last name, comma, first name, that way, and be consistent with it. Don't use last name, comma, first name in publication 1. Then when you get to publication 2, you use first name, comma, last name. That is inconsistency. That will show that you are not being consistent, right? Even if that is how it is in the publication, you can always change that, right? And if you are presenting something that is already published, make sure you have the DOI. That DOI is like the document identification number, I think so. So that is that. Even if a website changes, most time the DOI will not change. I think somebody wants to join. Let me just see. Admit, yeah. Okay, good. I'll go back to my screen. Okay, so that is what I have there. Then the next thing is under conferences, conference attended. So I find that there's a little error here. Here I'm saying you should change capital ND to small nd. So these are some little things that it looks like it doesn't mean, right? But it just means that the person is not paying attention to details. So you should work on this. And remember, what we are saying now doesn't apply only to this CV. This is a cafe. If you have your CV in front of you, you should be working on it now, looking at taking. That's why I am explaining the reason for what I am saying, right? So you can use it to work on your own. We always want to quote abbreviations, like when you mention NY and National Nigeria National Youth Service Corps, you put in bracket NYSC. When you mention Federal University of Technology, you put in bracket FUTU. Fine, those are the abbreviations that we use to know that name. But when you write your CV, if you're not going to use the abbreviation again in the body of the work, there's no need to abbreviate it. You just abbreviate them, they become redundant, they are not being used. It's very untidy, right? So like here, Annual Conference of the Historical Society of Nigeria, you put in bracket HSN. If this HSN is not being used again in this CV, then there's no need to put in bracket HSN. Just leave the name, put every other thing. So my big comment for this part is this: we should know your role in these conferences. So here you have listed conferences attended. Did you attend as a presenter? Did you attend as a keynote speaker, or you just attended as a participant? It matters. Let's say you presented your work there. So my comment is saying that if you presented your work there, then you should be able to capture that work under publications as presentations, right? So you should you should use the same format you use in presenting your publication. So you should write your name, the year that it was presented, the title, then the name of the conference, something like that. So that template I sent to Ross, I think it has all this, it has the details. Even if I'm not able to demonstrate them here, it has those details. Then if you did not present, yeah.
Prof, this Kizito again. Sorry, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
In a situation whereby writing out that abbreviation in full will occupy space. Maybe let's assume I'm writing, let's say, let me still use photo for an example. But maybe if I write photo in full, maybe in a volunteer experience section, it would affect my arrangement there. But then probably my work experience is down and I was a lecturer in photo. And I decide to, abbreviate it, put the abbreviation there, like Federal University of Technology, where they put in bracket. Meanwhile, up there, in my volunteer experience, I just put maybe volunteered photo, finish. Is there an issue in doing it that way? Or the first time it's appearing, I must abbreviate?
Yeah, the first time it's appearing, like now, this annual conference of the Historical Society of Nigeria, we put in bracket HSN. So let's say this person works in this conference. I know you cannot work in a conference. Let's say you work in this conference and you want to, under your work experience, you can just put HSN, right? Because you have defined it in this work. But what I would suggest in general in our CV, let's avoid abbreviations. Just use the full names. Use the full name, because you don't want to stress the person to start going up and down to start looking for what is HSN. Even if you are correct, you are right in abbreviating it the first time, like you did here, then using it as HSN, but you are putting the reader under stress to start looking for what is HSN again. The person will now start navigating to photo or H. So just put the full name of your school. I've not seen a CV that I don't know what you're going to write. That's the space to write your school name in full will be one thing. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, Prof.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead. So I hope this is making sense to us. So under work experience, so before I go to work experience, I just want to say this, that this person that graduated in 2014, if I am, maybe that is when he graduated, if I am assuming that, if you are being interviewed by somebody on this CV, they really want to know what, and they'll be like, since 2014 you graduated, what have you been doing? Only one publication that is still under review. So that is something to think about. I am still thinking maybe this is the year the person entered the school. I think so. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's go to work experience. Here, I commented on this first, your work experience. I like it. You under work experience, your role, the place you did the work experience, and the city or the local government, then the year, then the period. That makes sense. Then here we can see your role. And what I said here is that, because like I said, in commenting, I want to make sure that I'm not only commenting on the negative part, I want to comment on the positive part. So I said a very good way to present your role. And we should watch here, because this analyze, remember, this analyze, develop, and implement social services policy. You use this method because you are still working there. Because here you said August 2018 to present. Assuming you have finished working there, what would it have been? Who can tell me?
It will all be in past tense.
Past tense. Good. It have been analyzed,
Analyzed,
developed,
yes,
implemented. Good. So I want you to pay note. I want you to pay your attention on that. That if you have finished working there, then it should be past tense. But if you are still working there, then it is very nice here. So let's look at the next one. He said, send relief materials to the vulnerable and disadvantaged people in Ogbaru, such as children. Yeah, it's very good that you brought it out. But if you remember, I said something about brevity. You have to be brave. You have brave, like in terms of being precise. So what did you do here? What you did was you distribute relief materials to children and aged people. Full stop. Right? That has captured the story. Then I want you to add something there. I want to add something instead of saying all this other thing, because when you distribute relief material, the purpose is to improve people's condition, right? Right? That's what I think. Okay, good. I think this is a better way. Yeah, so it would be great to add the number of children and aged people. That shows the scale of the work you are handling or the work you can handle. So let's say we say they distribute relief materials to 500 children and 50 aged people. That is more specific. You see, instead of being super like everywhere, you know what you did. You even counted the number. So that tells. And in research, a graduate, when I'm looking for a graduate student, I'm looking for people who can give numbers to something. So we should, when we mention what we have done, or going forward, when we are working, we should know how many people we are serving. That quantity, quantifying it, is very important to capture on your CV. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So that's for me. That is how I was able to reduce this statement you wrote here to just one line, which I think also is a precise way. Then here I am saying that this use of the word Anambra, okay. Yeah, the use of the word Anambra, this is the only place where you are mentioning a state. In other cases, you mention just the cities. For me, that is inconsistent. So you should work on it. If you want to mention state, you should mention state for everywhere that you worked, right? So this local government has a state. This high school has a state. This INEC office has a state. So if you want to mention state, mention for others. Else, don't mention the state. just stick with the city, the city, the city. Another way is just to remove the city and just stick with the state, the state, the state. Brevity and consistency. Okay. And here I remove this National Youth Service Corps. Again, I don't think it's really, especially when this is out of Nigeria. We don't really like whether you did this thing for National Youth Service Corps or not. Who cares? What I just want to know is what you did, right? So you were a senior arts teacher in this school, in this city, and what did you do? You mentored, counseled, taught, assessed, and prepared how many students? 50 students, 100 students for both this and this and this. So that is, then where you have such as, there is no need to put a colon there. So I deleted that. That's my comment there. So this applies to other things you're going to write, or everybody when you write your CV. So here you said ad hoc staff, Independent National Electoral Commission. Again, outside Nigeria, there's no need to mention it. INEC. We know that Independent National Electoral Commission is INEC. So this abbreviation here is redundant. Delete it. The same thing as every other. All these ones I have highlighted in yellow. APO1, CPPB1. They are all redundant, so they should be deleted. So why I highlighted this ad hoc staff is that your role here is not ad hoc staff. Your role is just to be consistent with other places. Senior art teacher. I think what should come here is assistant presiding officer, Independent National Electoral Commission. Then you should not tell us your role. What did you do? That was what I was asking here. Here, I was asking about your role. Yeah. Have you added your roles? That's the question I'm asking here. Have you added your roles? So you should add your roles there and remove this assistant presiding officer to where you have the ad hoc staff. That shows exactly your role, and be consistent with other places where you mentioned that, where you mentioned in your work experience. So I go to the next one here.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some persons are waiting to join the
Okay.
meeting. Yeah, they dropped some comments on the group.
That is why it's not good to come to church late, because me, I'm not focusing on this other part. Okay, I think it's only one person. I've accepted the person. I will go straight. Just let me know again if you notice that somebody is waiting.
Okay.
So I'll go straight to the. Okay, I'll go straight again. So here, the same thing. So here, participated in researches on conflicts in Nigeria. Again, I am asking you. I am asking. I wish you can. Oh, good. Can be reduced to researched or specify how you participated. Participated. That's why I said sometimes in Nigeria we speak big English, or we want to just expand one small thing. Participated in researches on conflict in Nigeria. Just say what you did. Maybe you reviewed literature. And I gave an example. I said, for example, reviewed literature on conflicts in Nigeria. This can be a good skill to talk about for your graduate studies, right? Instead of saying participated in research. Participated in research can just be maybe you are driving the car that takes them to research, but that doesn't help for graduate school, right? So you can, what you did was like reviewed literature, and which I think is one of the great skills you can be using to sell yourself. If you really did that, reviewed literature on conflict in Nigeria, and maybe that is why you are even writing that is why the book, the paper that you are writing is coming from the Fulani thing that you mentioned there. So if you can put this to maybe whatever the specific thing that you did, I just give an example of reviewed literature. So that's, you should work on that. And to everybody, engaged in community service and peace building. Again, I am asking. Okay. I am asking to be specific, can be specific. Community service is a very big word. What did you do in community service? Did you sensitize young people? How many of them? Did you like peace building on its own. And remember, peace building is one word. There's no dash. I checked this. Peace building is one word. So if it was peace building, I think that can also be a community service on its own. So maybe restore peace to a community having conflict, or sensitize people on the need to live in peace, something like that. That is more specific. Good. So that goes to everything. Then volunteer experience. I am suggesting. Oh, somebody is there waiting. Okay. This is gonna bring some. So I am suggesting that for this, from your profile, you can merge your volunteer experience and your leadership experience, and that will satisfy Nathaniel's comment. He was asking to provide the roles of this leadership. If you read this very well, you see that here where you said that you led Onitsha City, you are Onitsha City coordinator for Info Hub. And if you go to the volunteer, look as if these were your roles, or these are your roles there, right? So you can just put leadership and volunteer. I suggested that merge this with the volunteer experience, leadership and volunteer experience. So if this was your role, the leadership involvement, then these are your roles. Sensitize secondary school students. I was saying organize free sensitization for. Oyibo. So organize free sensitization for. I have reduced that to what? Sensitize secondary school student within Onitsha on the importance of and benefit of whatever there. Then as Nathaniel pointed out, Onitsha was spelled wrongly. So you should also make sure that those things are spelled correctly. Oyibo man don't know Onitsha, but he already he can see the correct spelling here. Then this wrong spelling will show that it is wrongly spelled. Again, my comment goes to the same organized community development service or community development services within Onitsha. Again, if you know the specific thing you organize, you should be able to mention that. Okay. I think I agree with Nathaniel. This also I specified. I said, where are you? I said, what year? So the year that you were public relation officer, PRO. You don't need to specify this PRO again. They highlighted it. SHSN, no need to abbreviate them. Then let us know the year that you were PRO or in that organization. So your certification, Nathaniel has made some comments there. I think he will send that to back up to join to mine. Then here, under honors and award, I am saying it can be written in a better way. The first thing you want to see is what honor did you get? It was, you were the winner, right? So winner, that flashes the light. Winner, which is the more important thing. Winner in what event? Essay competition on nation building and national identity of Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. Unless the name of the award is Essay Competition Winner Award. If that was the name of the award they gave to you. If not, if it's just that you are the winner of that essay competition, then it's winner, essay competition on this, that. And yeah, it's good that you wrote the month and the year that you got that award, because maybe it's a yearly award, so you just got it for 1 year. Then here, network and membership. I changed it to professional membership. I think that's that template. Here you also reduce word network and membership. We just see only one place where you are a member. So professional membership is good enough. This is what Nathaniel was talking about. So here I am making it better for you. So if you are a member, so depending on what that organization has, they have corporate member or student member, because you can also be a fellow. That is why it's important. These are different categories of membership. You can be a fellow of an organization. So, but here I think you are a member. So member, Historical Society of Nigeria. Then you put I'm asking, when did you become a member? And are you still a member? Because sometimes maybe you just joined them once and you did not continue. So it's better to just put the year that you became a member, and if you are still a member, to present. So this applies to every one of us in when you describe your professional membership. So make sure you show that. Okay, Nathaniel pointed out language, mother tongue, English. I don't see anything wrong with that if you're putting it. Although, like, I agree with his line of thought, but I think we also want to leave our mother tongue there. Again, most times when you write your profile, it's not like you don't like Igbo. If you think it's going to affect you, you can drop it and just show more of your strength in English, because so that they will not ask you to write an English language test, right? So that is just the reason. English is our first language in Nigeria, I think so, or official language. Maybe you can put, there's a way you can put it. Since you have this at mother tongue, you can have English official language. Or as you said, proficient. It's also good. I think it's also good. I think I like that. There's nothing, I do not see anything wrong with that. Then hobbies and interests: reading and writing, teaching, traveling, football, and checkers. Okay, I don't know what checkers mean. Is it somebody that plays and what? So you can always confirm that. Okay, let's go to the referees. In the referee, I think I like your referee, but I also made a comment. So Dr. Albert, this person, who is he? You just mentioned Dr. Albert this. See, a doctor can just be an administrative officer in a department. Know that a doctor can be an administrative officer in a department. Sorry, I just thought somebody came in. So I'll go back to my screen. So that is why you should mention, is the person a professor of something, or a lecturer of something, right? Because these are ranks in the field, right? So then Department of History and International Studies. It's not enough to say Dr. Albert or Nobayedo. Many doctors can be there just not doing any academic work. I think this sounds the record that the person is a professor, and being a professor means that he maybe supervised your research or he taught you, because he's meant to provide academic review on you. So just maybe, so here you can say professor of history or professor of international studies. Here, professor of international studies or professor of history. So that sounds right. Or you can say senior lecturer of history, senior lecturer of, just like that, depending on what the person is. Okay, and I like it that you use their school email. This looks very good. Then the phone number here, I like it that you use the country code. I think we should also always use that when we're making our CV for international audience. So let's put our country code.
Please excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe the references should be available on request. Wouldn't that be a better option?
It's fine. If some application will not want you to put it. Some will say some will specify that should. Some will say that some application you don't have to put your reference, but if you have it also, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong, yeah. But if you if you also don't have it, if you say reference available based on request, there's also nothing wrong. So I'm commenting on this because it is there. So whenever you're going to have it, you should follow something like this. This pattern the person uses, I think I like it. When you add professor of whatever they are. Yeah. So I did not think I missed something somewhere. Where are you? Winner. Okay, yeah, here. This quotation mark here is not closed. So I want you to close it. So you just open a quotation mark, you did not close it. So the person, so these are some details that when I say, even if you follow a template, make sure somebody reads it. That is what I am saying, because little mistakes, it's not your fault. It happens to almost everybody. We make little, because when we are writing our own thing, we just, that joy, you just think everything is okay, right? So yeah, so I think I will open the floor for questions. So like I said, taking the other CV might not be feasible because of our time, because we are in the next 2 minutes now, we are going to be 1 hour. I can only take this thing for the next 10 minutes after 1 hour. So, but I want to entertain questions. So I'm going to either plead with the other person that we can work on his or her CV in our next cafe, or I can give a personal comment, or the person can always modify based on what we have commented on this. Good. So I open the floor to questions, additional comments.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
I will keep sharing my screen in case you want to direct me to any part of this work. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. I have one question, 3 questions. Number one, how do you present maybe thesis work, like your project work that has not been published yet, but something you did as a thesis for graduation from your undergraduate level? So how do you present that one on part of on the publications? And
Yes.
then the next question I want to ask, is it advisable to maybe when sending an email to a professor, can you add like a link to a Google Drive containing your CV and maybe your passport and other things instead of attaching the CV to the email?
Okay.
And then lastly, is it advisable to attach a passport photograph to the CV, like what some people do?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, think should maybe I will stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing so that we can discuss now. Okay. So Vincent, that question I think is you asked a very nice question. So I will start with the passport. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I think I don't encourage you to have your passport on your CV unless the application requires that I should add a passport. And most times applications that require you to add a passport, maybe they are calling for the application is specifically for maybe blacks, so they want to make sure that you are black, or the application is specifically for females, they want to make sure you are a lady, things like that, or it's for maybe Chinese, they want to make sure you are a Chinese person. So that is it. But if it's not, the reason why you should not add your passport, I fear that your application might enter into the hands of somebody who don't like who has some reservation for certain people of certain colors, and you can just be shooting yourself on the foot, right? So nobody wants to accept you because of your color. Nobody wants to accept you because of your face or whether you are physically challenged or not. People here don't look at that. They want to accept you based on what you can offer, and that is what your CV is all about. It's not Facebook, right? Your CV is not Facebook where you come and show your face. So don't do that unless the application requires that. Then in terms of providing a link, I don't think you should provide a link. You should attach. The reason why I think you should attach is maybe in the future, people will start accepting that link. People are scared of opening links, right? Unless the person recommends that, say, okay, attach all your documents in a link and send to me, right? And that must come after some communication with you. The person trusts that you are a person, that you are not a scammer. Else, the person will be scared. Even the normal attachment, the person is also scared, right? But at least that is the method that we know for now that people use. So I think we should stick with attaching. And then why should they attach your passport actually? Unless somebody asks you for that, don't send your passport to anybody. The first thing you want to send is your CV, right? So your passport is only on request. Only do some of these things. Don't overgive people things. Give them on request. If they value so your first information you send, they value the request for something, then you can send, right? So that's what I would think. Then in terms of your thesis, there's a way you can capture. There are several ways you can capture your thesis on your CV, and the template I sent, I think it captures it well. So I will encourage us. I've been encouraging us to follow that template. I am glad that reviewer CV1 followed the template. I'm also glad that following the template doesn't mean that there are no errors. At least you can see red lines everywhere. So the way you can capture your thesis, you can put it under publications. You can put it under you can have a title thesis under publications, where you can mention just mention the title of the thesis. You can mention your supervisor's name there. Then you can also give a brief abstract that you can put an abstract, your abstract there, or you can write just the main, and this depends on the position you are applying for. Let's say a position you are applying for is very close to your thesis, and you want to point out to the recruiter that you have really done this thing. So why not? You can just use 5 lines or 4 lines to specify how in a very strong word, how your previous work relates to, so that the person can see that your previous work relates to that that call that they are that new call. That is one way. Another way, I might not encourage you to add your thesis abstract on your CV. If you are writing a statement of purpose that already captures your thesis, then it's going to be like repeating what is on your CV on your thesis. One of my friends used to do that. Yeah. So I think he must have modified that. So you don't want to repeat words or sentences, because these people that are going to recruit review your work, they also want to read. They don't want to be reading the same thing in different places, right? So if you have it in your statement of purpose, why repeat it in your CV? So your CV, we should just see the title and maybe your supervisor. Then in your statement of purpose, you can expand on it, right? I think that will make a connection between that and your career path. Does that answer your question, Ugwa?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. It does. Thank you.
Okay, so we will take 1 or 2 questions and stop in the next 4 minutes so that the video will not be too long. Again, I want to apologize to the person that sent.
Okay.
So your CV becomes CV1 for our next CV Café, which I think will come very fast. We should plan it to happen very fast, because I see that it's really making sense. And your CV has a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things to talk about. Any question?
Okay, Prof. I've been raising my hand. It's Kizito again. Good evening.
Yeah.
Okay, Prof. I have 2 questions. Okay, my first question is this. Okay, I'm looking at my own CV here as I'm talking to you, and it happens that for a particular organization where I work for, I've been working there for some couple of years, and I have changed offices, I've changed portfolios during those couple of years. So I felt, instead of writing, look at the CV templates that you told us to follow, it's just an office, a position and stuff. So I decided, okay, in this case, let me just write the of the organization board at the top, then write the various offices and my various duties at those offices individually. With the year, I occupy those offices. That is the time I spent in those offices. So I don't know if that is okay. Then my second question is, I'm looking at my template. My previous CV had the dates before the position. That's my previous CV. But this, I had to, because according to our template, I had to put the date after the position. But that is not looking very nice in my eye here. So I'm requesting, is still a must to put the date after. Why not just put it before? Like 2017 to 2018, administrative assistant. Instead of putting administrative assistant, then 2019 to 2020. Why not just put the dates? Can I put the dates before? Must it be exactly like this? That's the 2 questions I have.
Good, nice. Those are very good questions. So for the first one, the offices. So I think it makes sense that since it is one organization, so the first thing will be the organization, then the roles. Because if you don't stratify the roles, it shows that it just looks as if you have been doing one thing over and over, right? So then it makes sense to specify how you have grown, right? So from your most recent position, maybe as the chief officer, you put your role there. Then the next role was officer. The next role was assistant officer, and their year. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. That makes sense. Then for the date, you can use anything that is appealing to you, right? So, but I think what comes in CV, what comes first, what comes first matters. So if I want to mention my education, I think one of the great things, like for me who did my PhD at McGill, I see that as a strength. So what I want you to see, I want you to see McGill first. So that for me, that is my catch. For me, I made a first class. I want you to see my first class very fast. When I was still looking for graduate position, that was my selling point, first class. So it was, for me, it's not a time, it's not a date that was the first thing. So what matters is what comes first. So use that principle, right? I think there's a way you can make it to be clean. It will still be appealing. So bring what matters first, because it's like you, if somebody presents something to you, there's something that draws your interest first. That is what you want to show first. And that is why when we are writing our CV, you want to put publications. If you have publications, you are putting them first, because for a research position, publication is what matters to them. Oh. When you're a student here, if you like, you know book up and down, nobody cares. But if you don't know book, in quote, or you can publish, you become hot cake. Within 1 or 2 years, you publish. In fact, you're going to overtake somebody that thinks he has good grades, right? So if you have that type of profile, then you want to bring your publication immediately after your education, right? So that is, so you have to, your CV is built to draw attention to what matters, right? To the position. And it is not all like your one CV doesn't work for everything. There are some CV that you don't have to mention that you are a wrestler. There's some that you don't have to mention that you used to dig yam in a farm. But there's a CV that might need field work. You say, okay, you can even mention that how you work in the farm. There's a way you can write it, experience in working in the farm, something like that, if that work needs field experience. So that can also, there's a way you can package all those time you work in the farm with your dad and your mom or your guardian. You can package it somehow and put time to it. It becomes, you just have to give it a name, right? Then it becomes a good skill that you even know how to work in the field, right? So all these things, it depends on the position you're applying for and what you want to emphasize. Okay. Sorry, we are already out of time. But I think somebody wants to ask a question. Knowledge Zeal Learning Zone. You have a question? Let's take a question, because let's balance this talk. Only guys have been speaking.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
Okay.
sir. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you so much. I've really learned a lot this evening, and I'm really
Great.
grateful. Thank you, sir. So, my question is, wow, this CV thing, it's really like one has to go and have an in-depth thinking of everything you've done and everything you think is useful and bring them together. And it's really sounding like a lot of work, sir. I pray God help us. Very key is, I need to know is there an amount of pages that is expected for a CV? That's number one. Then number two, say you're a student and you did the work and your supervisor has not published the work. So where does it come in? How do you register such?
Your supervisor has not published it, or you have not published it?
So are you the one to publish it yourself, sir? Because usually before now, I know supervisors publish and then add students' name alongside.
No, if you don't, some supervisors will not add your name unless they know that you have interest. That's what happens in Nigeria. But here, like here in Canada, students make move for their publications. Students will make the move. Supervisors will support you, but you have to make the move, and you will be the first author here. I know that might not be the case in Nigeria. The professors, they're even looking for how to put their name, so they can even put their name first. But normally, a work that you did, you should be the first author, and you should make move to publish it. You should be the one. Like now that you know that publication is very important for this career, you should even go back and start emailing your professor. sir, is there any way we can publish our work? Can I write a draft and send to you? Can I do this? Can I? Because it is more urgent to you than to the professor, right? He is already a professor. He doesn't need the publication that much again, but you need it to boost your profile, right? So that can be the drive. You should politely, when I say politely, don't go and say, oh, sir, one man just told us today that publication is important, you must publish my work. Oh, no. So you have to be polite, sir. Is there any way I was wondering if we can publish my work. I think that it will add some information to the body of knowledge. I can send you my first draft, so that you can review something like that. Then you have to do that. You have a part to play. He will come up. Yeah. So with this, I think we will call the meeting an end. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I want to thank Nathaniel for taking his time to show us how to go through, how to search a professor. So the whole purpose of this, I want to see everyone doing something to move themselves to the next level. Don't wait. Nobody will do it for you. We are just here providing assistance. I will not do it for you. I will not give you a scholarship. You are the one that I will not write a slip for you. You are the one that will put the information. I will just check to see if they make sense. I wish you guys the best, and I cannot wait to start celebrating your success in this journey. So I will stop recording, and then I say have a nice evening for those of you in Nigeria. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
No
Good night.
problem.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
job.
Appreciate
Oh
it.
my God.
Bye,
So you are
everyone.
there. Hey, this girl. I'll stop recording, I think so.
Good night.
Stop recording. Stop recording. I'm still recording. Stop recording.
That's man, I sent you a chat.